What's going on, everyone? Welcome back. So here we are in the den with AG. My name is JP. Let's get started, man. What's going on?
Hey, I'm good. How about you, JP?
Yeah, doing fine. So what's going on in the world of sports?
So basically, we are going to start talking about the NFL. Let's talk about some big injury news that's happening in the NFL.
Okay.
Patrick Mahomes, arguably the best QB in the league of the Kansas City Chiefs, he got injured in yesterday's game against the Cleveland Browns. It's an injury to his right ankle, Andy Reid, the Chiefs coach, said. He said, and I quote, "It is not broken, but it is sore." So the x-ray came back negative, and they list him as questionable for next week's game, as a week-to-week. Mm-hmm. And the injury occurred, if you weren't watching the game, it occurred...
I wasn't watching the game.
That's totally okay. It occurred at the 8-minute mark, so around the fourth quarter, a bunch of Browns defenders, Myles Garrett got in the mix as well. They kind of injured Patrick Mahomes pretty badly. He had to get limped off the fields. So their backup had to finish the game. So again, he's week to week. So how do you think he has a good chance of playing next game?
Next game? I don't think so.
You don't think so?
No, I don't think he's going to play. That's just my humble opinion.
That's just your humble opinion?
We'll see what happens, huh?
I mean, yeah, he's had some past injuries with his right ankle as well, dating back to last 2 years in the playoffs as well. He walked that off pretty well, so I think.
You think he's in?
I think he's in for next week.
All right.
I think he'll skip about maybe one or two practices, but I think by Saturday he'll be good. Next Saturday he'll be all right.
Awesome. Okay.
Yeah. So also around the NFL, Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens visited MetLife Stadium to go against Malik Neighbors and the rest of the New York Giants and completely embarrassed them, unfortunately, because I am a Giants fan. So I've been through a little something, Lamar, during that game, joined the rare club where he scored 5 touchdowns against the New York Giants. And the Giants were exposed even more with a bunch of flaws, and I didn't think that was going to happen anymore because it's so late in the season. They've already been exposed, with too many flaws. But if there is one good thing about the New York Giants season, it's got to be the rookies. Because, of course, the number 1 overall pick, Malik Neighbors, he's been phenomenal for the New York Giants this season. He's the only reason why they're still scoring points, to be honest, in those games. He's chasing the Giants' rookie receiving record. I think he will break. Do you think he will break that? Because I think he will break that by week 18 against the Eagles. Do you think he'll break that?
I'm not sure. What do you think? You think he's going to break it?
Yeah, again, I think he'll break it.
Okay.
But Tyrone Tracy, Tyler Nubin, they've been phenomenal. Before obviously they got on the IR, and Tyrone Tracy, he's still doing his thing. While the Giants still remain in the hunt for the number 1 overall pick, competing with the Las Vegas Raiders. Who do you think is going to end up with the number 1 overall pick, though, by week 18?
What are my choices?
Well, realistically, there is the New York Giants, who are at 2-11. Mm-hmm. Also at 2-11 are the Las Vegas Raiders. And then you have a few 3-win teams in the New England Patriots, the Panthers, and the Jacksonville Jaguars. So who do you think is going to get the number 1 overall pick, and why?
All right, don't hate me for this. You ready?
Yes.
The Patriots.
The Patriots?
Yes.
Oh, really?
That's just my thought. Just have a feeling about them.
What makes you say that?
I'm not really sure.
You just have a feeling?
I just have a feeling it's going to be the Patriots.
They do have a pretty tough schedule for compared to others for the rest of the season. And I wouldn't be surprised if they ended up with the number 1 overall pick either. I personally think it would be the Giants. I feel like the Giants are going to end up.
The Giants are going to end up in there, huh?
The number 1 overall pick, yes.
Number 1, yep.
I feel like they will, just because of the way they've been playing so sloppily. Because they're only averaging 14.9 points per game this season, the lowest in the NFL.
Ay, ay, ay.
Their defense has been horrendous ever since Dexter Lawrence II got on the IR a couple weeks back. And even with the additions of Brian Burns, Malik Neighbors, Tyler Nubin, all those players, the Giants are still not clicking ever since they got to the playoffs in 2022, beating the Vikings in the wildcard rounds. Ever since that loss against the Philadelphia Eagles, I feel like they've just been in a complete limbo. Obviously, Daniel Jones, he hasn't been performing as well as he had in 2022 and his rookie year 2019. But obviously, everybody knows by now he's been cut. He recently joins the Vikings practice squad. Do you think that they should have cut Daniel Jones, or should they just wait till the end of the season?
I'm not that familiar with that situation, so I'm not sure. Can you just kind of elaborate a little bit on?
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course. So, basically,
pretend I know nothing, and there's a reality to that too. Like, I really don't know much about that.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
I know. It's totally
So-
fine.
I know nothing about sports.
So, basically, Daniel Jones in 2022 was his best year in the NFL by far ever since the Giants drafted him number 6 overall in 2019, having over 2,000 yards and over 15 plus touchdowns in 2022,
Wow.
leading the Giants to a 9-7 and 1 record, and beating the Minnesota Vikings in the wildcard round, the first round of the playoffs. First time
Wow.
they've won that in over a decade, before when Eli Manning was their quarterback.
Okay.
One, arguably the best quarterback in Giants history, obviously. But after that, they signed Daniel Jones because in 2023, Daniel Jones and Saquon Barkley were both had to be signed to new contracts. So the Giants had to decide whether to sign Saquon Barkley or Daniel Jones to a new deal, and then give the other one I guess like a 1-year qualifying offer, basically, which is basically, you play under a franchise tag. That's
Okay.
the term, franchise tag. I'm sorry.
Okay.
You play under a 1-year deal for, it depends on how much money, really. It's like around 20 million, less than that, it depends. So they decided to pay Daniel Jones a 4-year, $160 million deal in March of 2023, and gave Saquon the 1-year deal, apparently, the franchise tag. Every team's allowed to give one player a franchise tag every offseason if they choose. And we decided to give him the franchise tag, Saquon, like just a few weeks before the 2023 season began. And that's probably one of the biggest mistakes in Giants franchise history, because in 2023, Jones suffered 2 major injuries, and in November 2023, he suffered an ACL tear against the Las Vegas Raiders that completely ended his season. Saquon was injured for a few games, but he was still phenomenal for them, for the offense.
Okay.
The defense was still in shambles for some reason last year for them. And in the offseason, the 2024 offseason, first day of free agency, the Philadelphia Eagles, one of the New York Giants' most hated rivals, decided to swoop in and sign Saquon Barkley to a 3-year deal. A $37 million 3-year deal. And obviously that shocked a lot of Giants fans. It hurt a lot of Giants fans. And he's been phenomenal, even more like legendary for the Eagles in his very first season with Philadelphia. He already broke the Philadelphia Eagles record for a running back, yards-wise, in their first season. And Saquon has the opportunity to beat the single-season rushing yards for a running back against the New York Giants in Week 18. So he's also a leader. He's also a front leader to win the MVP award. So if he wins the MVP award, or gets a top 3 finish, which he most likely is going to get a top 3 finish, and he beats the single season rushing yards for a running back against the New York Giants, against his former team, that would be horrendous and most definitely embarrassing for the New York Giants. I would say to fire the GM, their general manager. I would say maybe fire their coach as well, Brian Daboll.
Wow.
But back in October, they said that the Giants organization said that both of them would stay for the 2025 season. They wouldn't get fired in the offseason or anything like that. What do you think they should do with their GM? And
besides fire him?
I mean, yeah. Like, do you think they should fire him?
They can rehabilitate him, or
no? I mean, do you think they should fire him after two terrible seasons, Joe Schmo and Brian Dable, after just 2 seasons at the helm? Or I guess this is his third season.
Is that common practice to fire the GM after 2 terrible seasons?
Is it common practice?
Yeah.
For this situation, I'd say it is.
Okay, so this might warrant that, right? It might warrant it.
Yeah. Would you say it would be like, I guess, a fresh start for the New York Giants, or would you say this is like another bad step in the wrong direction?
I think it's time for a fresh start, to be honest.
For a fresh start? Okay. Yeah, I would think so too. I'd say fire the GM, get a new one, restart.
Just fire the GM.
Get a new QB in the draft, maybe
fresh
for
start.
them.
Start over, do over.
Exactly. But in other news, Jared Goff and the Lions were beat out by Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills on Sunday Night Football, 48-41, and it was an incredible game. It was an incredible game for Josh Allen. He had 4 touchdowns, no interceptions, but I'd also say Jared Goff had a really great game as well with 5 touchdowns, and he got the Lions back in the game. But Josh Allen is in the front runner for MVP this year. But that's all the news we have for NFL. So around the MLB, just a few major trades. Cubs get Kyle Tucker from the Houston Astros for Isaac Paredes, who plays third base. So that can likely mean Alex Bregman, their longtime third baseman for the Houston Astros, could be likely gone.
Okay.
They also get a prospect, third baseman, in Cam Smith, the Houston Astros. Kyle Tucker is immediately the Cubs' best player now, I guess. His stats, his batting average, 289, 23 home runs, 11 stolen bases, .993 OPS for last season as well. And he only played in about 80 games. Cody Bellinger and Suzuki, both right fielders, are most likely gone from Chicago, with Cody Bellinger most likely going to sign with the New York Yankees as a replacement for Juan Soto for them.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, and the Yankees also signed Devin Williams from Milwaukee, and Milwaukee got Nestor Cortez, who's a starting pitcher, and another prospect as well. So I think that's all the major news that's been happening around the NFL and also the MLB that I just mentioned. So
it seems like you covered all our bases today. Huh?
Yes, I have, apparently. Me and JP will be back for you in the next episode. Thank you very much.
All right, this is In the Den with AG signing off.
Peace.